like your mouth just can't keep up with your brain when you speak English? You have the perfect idea, the perfect sentence in your head, but when you try to say it, it comes out as a jumbled, confusing mess.
Oh, absolutely. Or that feeling of panic in a conversation when someone asks you a question and you feel this immense pressure to answer immediately and perfectly. Your heart starts racing, you forget simple words, and you just freeze.
If that sounds familiar, you are in exactly the right place. For years, we've been told that fluency means speaking fast, like a native speaker firing off sentences at lightning speed. But what if we told you that this idea is not only wrong, but it's actually holding you back?
What if the secret to unlocking clear, confident, and truly fluent English was to do the exact opposite, to slow down?
It might sound crazy, but today we're going to show you why slowing down is the most powerful technique you're probably not using. We're going to transform the way you practice and think about speaking English.
So grab a coffee, get comfortable, and get ready to find your flow.
Hello, and welcome everyone to the English Flow Podcast, your weekly home for mastering confident and natural English. I'm Kei.
And I'm Leo. We're so glad to have you with us here on our channel, English Fluency Mastery. Our mission is simple: to give you the practical tools and the mindset shifts you need to stop just learning English and start truly living it.
And today's topic is a game changer. We're calling it the power of slow English. We'll break down why the need for speed is a myth, the incredible brain science benefits of slowing down, and most importantly, we'll give you 5 practical step-by-step exercises you can start using today.
Seriously, stick with us to the end, because the 5th technique is one I personally used to overcome my fear of speaking, and it made a massive difference in just a few weeks. You don't want to miss it.
So, Leo, let's start at the beginning. Where does this pressure to speak fast even come from?
I think it comes from a misunderstanding of what fluency is. We listen to native speakers in movies, on TV shows, or on YouTube, and they often speak quickly. So our brain makes a simple connection. Fast equals fluent. Fast equals advanced. We think, if I can speak that fast, I'll sound like them.
Exactly. It becomes the goal. But it's a flawed goal. Think about it like learning to play the guitar. If you want to learn a new complex song, do you start by trying to play it at full speed?
Of course not. You'd make a mess. Your fingers wouldn't know where to go, you'd hit all the wrong notes, and it would sound terrible. You start slowly, note by note, building the muscle memory in your fingers until it becomes automatic. Only then do you start to build speed.
Speaking English is the exact same thing. Your tongue, your lips, your jaw, these are muscles. They need to learn the new movements of English pronunciation. When you force yourself to speak too fast, you're essentially skipping that crucial muscle memory training phase.
And what happens when you do that? I can tell you from experience. First, your pronunciation suffers. You don't enunciate properly. Words blend together in the wrong way. The sound becomes a duh or a the. You drop the ends of words. People have to ask you, sorry, can you repeat that? Which just destroys your confidence.
That's a huge point. Clarity is more important than speed. I would much rather listen to someone speak slowly and clearly than quickly and incomprehensibly. The goal of language is communication, not speed.
And the second thing that happens is the anxiety spiral. You try to speak fast, you make a mistake, you get embarrassed, which makes you more anxious. The next time you speak, you're even more focused on not making a mistake, which makes you more tense, and you end up making even more mistakes. It's a vicious cycle.
So, let's be clear. We are officially giving you permission to let go of that pressure. Fluency is not about speed. Fluency is about clarity, control, and confidence. And the path to that fluency begins with slowing down.
Okay, so we've torn down the myth. Let's build up the new reality. Kei, you love the science behind the stuff. What are the actual tangible benefits of practicing slow English?
I'm so glad you asked. There are 4 main benefits that work together beautifully, creating a powerful ripple effect across your entire English speaking ability. Benefit number 1, it gives you thinking time. This is perhaps the most immediate and profound benefit. When you consciously decide to speak slower, you are not just slowing your mouth down, you are creating invaluable space in your brain. This space is absolutely golden. Instead of feeling that rush, that immense pressure to fire off words instantly, you grant your brain a crucial moment to process. This allows your internal English dictionary to kick into gear and search for the most precise vocabulary. It gives your grammar engine time to construct sentences accurately without the usual jumbled mess that happens when you're panicking. You can retrieve the correct verb tense, the right prepositions, or the perfect idiom. Think about it like this. Normally, your brain is trying to do 10 things at once. Understand the question, formulate an answer, worry about sounding fluent, translate from your native language, and retrieve words, all under immense time pressure. It's like trying to navigate a complex map while driving at 10 miles per hour in heavy fog. You're going to make mistakes, but when you slow down, you're reducing the speed, clearing the fog. You shift from a state of frantic reacting to a calm, deliberate state of responding. This isn't just about finding the right words, it's about finding the best words and assembling them in the most natural and effective way. This pause, this intentional slowness, transforms your speaking process from a chaotic scramble into an organized, thoughtful construction. It gives you back control.
That's huge. It's the difference between blurting something out and consciously choosing your words. You feel more in control. It's like your brain can finally breathe and execute its tasks properly instead of just scrambling.
Exactly. And this leads directly into our second benefit. Benefit number 2, it drastically improves your pronunciation. We touched on this with the guitar analogy earlier. Just like your fingers need to learn the precise movements on a fretboard, your tongue, your lips, and your jaw are muscles that need to learn the new, often unfamiliar, movements required for English pronunciation. When you speak too fast, you're essentially glossing over these movements. You're not giving your mouth the chance to truly form the sounds. The th sound, for example, requires your tongue to be between your teeth. If you're rushing, it's easy for it to slip into a D or an S sound. Similarly, the difference between sheet and shit can come down to a very subtle difference in lip and tongue position for the vowel sound. These are physical acts. By slowing down, you can consciously focus on the precise placement of your mouth, tongue, and lips. You can ensure you're getting that vibration for the voiced th in this or that. You can take the time to correctly articulate the R in river or the L in light. You can pay attention to syllable stress, which can dramatically change the meaning of a word or sentence. You are no longer just making noise, you are intentionally sculpting the sounds. This focused, deliberate practice builds correct muscle memory. You're training your mouth to adopt accurate habits rather than simply reinforcing bad, rushed ones. It's like a dancer practicing each step slowly and perfectly before attempting the full routine at speed. This precision training is what truly refines your accent and clarity.
So you're not just practicing what to say, but how to say it with precision. You're building that foundation of physical accuracy with every slow word.
Precisely. And that physical precision and the mental space it creates contribute to benefit number 3. It reduces anxiety and builds confidence. This is a game changer for so many learners. The anxiety spiral we discussed earlier, the fear of making mistakes, the embarrassment, the subsequent tension leading to more mistakes, it's incredibly debilitating. When you know you have more time to think and to articulate, the internal panic button stops being pressed so frequently. The immediate pressure to perform at lightning speed is lifted. You stop fixating on how fast you're speaking, and instead, you can channel your focus onto being clear, accurate, and understandable. Every single time you successfully complete a sentence, clearly and calmly, without stumbling or rushing, you experience a small but significant surge of confidence. This isn't just a fleeting feeling, it's a physiological response. Your brain registers success, releases positive neurochemicals, and reinforces the behavior. This positive feedback loop starts to build on itself, creating an upward spiral of confidence that systematically replaces that old anxiety spiral. You begin to trust your ability to communicate effectively, even if it takes a moment longer. That trust is the bedrock of true fluency. You realize that clarity and correctness are far more valuable than speed, and that realization liberates you from a huge burden.
I love that. It's like turning down the volume on that panicked inner voice, allowing the calm, confident one to finally speak up. It's about building trust in your own process.
Absolutely. And finally, benefit number 4. It makes you sound more authoritative and natural. This is the one that often surprises people. They mistakenly believe that speaking slowly will make them sound unintelligent, hesitant, or less fluent. The complete opposite is true. Think about some of the most impactful and respected speakers you know, whether they are presidents, CEOs, inspirational leaders, or even experienced actors. Do they rush their words? Do they try to fill every second with sound?
No, they're very deliberate. They use pauses. It makes you hang on their every word. You pay more attention because they're not just blabbering.
Precisely. Strategic slowness and deliberate pausing convey thoughtfulness, control, and gravitas. It shows that you are choosing your words carefully, that you are confident in what you are saying, and that you expect your listener to absorb it. It makes you incredibly easy to listen to because you are giving your audience time to process your ideas. When you speak clearly and at a measured pace, people naturally perceive you as more intelligent, more competent, and more reliable. You actually sound more like a confident, natural speaker by skillfully utilizing pauses and a controlled pace, rather than attempting to emulate the frantic, rapid-fire delivery that often characterizes nervousness, not true fluency. It's about quality over quantity of words per second. This is a powerful, subtle shift in how you are perceived.
Wow. Okay, so to recap these incredible benefits, more thinking time for your brain, drastically improved pronunciation because you're forming the sounds correctly, a huge reduction in anxiety that builds lasting confidence, and you actually sound more authoritative and natural to others. I'm totally sold on the why. The question now, the big one for our listeners is, how do we actually do it?
This is the fun part. We've talked about why slowing down is essential, the profound benefits it brings to your clarity, confidence, and overall fluency. Now, let's get down to brass tacks. How do you actually practice it? We have 5 simple, actionable techniques that you can start using today. Let's dive into the first one. Technique 1, slow motion shadowing. Most of you who have explored English learning resources have probably heard of shadowing. This is a technique where you listen to a native speaker and then immediately repeat what they say, trying to match their pronunciation, rhythm, and intonation in real time. It's an incredibly effective method for improving your spoken English. However, for the purpose of slow English, we're going to modify it to make it even more powerful. Here's how. First, find a short audio clip. We're talking something manageable, maybe 20 to 30 seconds long. This could be a segment from a podcast you enjoy, a short clip from a TED Talk, a scene from a movie, or even just a sentence or two from an English news report. The key is that it's clear, natural English speech. But here's the crucial modification for slow motion shadowing. You need to use a tool that allows you to slow down the playback speed. YouTube has an excellent playback speed setting, allowing you to go down to 0.75 times or even 0.5 times speed. Many podcast apps and language learning apps also have this functionality. Your goal is to slow it down to a speed where you can comfortably process each word and, most importantly, consciously mimic it. Start with 0.75 times speed. It's usually the sweet spot.
So you're not just trying to keep up with a fast speaker, which can be overwhelming and frustrating, especially when they're speaking at full native speed.
Exactly. At 0.75x speed, your job is not about rushing to keep up. Your entire focus shifts from speed to precision and naturalness. As you listen and then repeat, your focus should be entirely on mimicking the melody of the English language. This means paying close attention to the intonation. Which words go up in pitch, which go down? Where does the speaker emphasize certain syllables or words? For example, in a sentence like, "I really enjoyed the movie last night," a native speaker will naturally stress really, movie, and night. When you're shadowing at a slower pace, you have the time to notice and replicate these nuances. You also want to pay attention to the word stress within multisyllable words, like photography versus photographer. And crucially, pay attention to the pauses. Where do native speakers naturally pause between thought groups? English isn't spoken as one long continuous stream of words. There are natural breaks. By slowing down, you can identify these breaks and incorporate them into your own speech. This trains your ear to recognize the rhythm of English and trains your mouth to produce it accurately. Do this for just 5 minutes a day. That's it. It's a short, highly focused drill. You're not just repeating words. You're training your ear to hear the subtle intricacies of natural English pronunciation and your mouth to reproduce those sounds and rhythms at a manageable pace. Over time, this builds incredible muscle memory and improves your overall clarity without the pressure of speed.
That sounds like a fantastic warm-up and a detailed practice for anyone who feels like their mouth isn't forming words correctly. It's almost like vocal yoga.
It truly is. All right, let's move on to technique number 2, the narrator technique.
Okay, I love this one. It feels a bit silly at first, I'll admit that, but it is incredibly effective for getting your brain to connect words directly to what you're seeing and doing in real time. The idea here is to become the narrator of your own life, out loud and very, very slowly.
Whatever you are doing, wherever you are, begin to describe it out loud in English. For example, right now, as I'm sitting here talking to you, I could demonstrate. I'm going to slow my speech down dramatically, speaking very deliberately, almost as if I'm dictating what I'm doing for an audiobook or a slow-motion documentary. I am sitting in my chair. My back is straight. I am looking at the microphone. The microphone is black. Now I am picking up my glass of water. The glass is half full. I am taking a sip of water.
Laughing. It sounds funny. I agree, especially when Leo does it with that dramatic pause. But let's break down what he's actually doing there. He's doing several incredibly beneficial things for his English fluency. First, he's connecting words directly to actions and objects in his immediate environment. This helps to build a more direct link between the English word and the concept, bypassing mental translation. Second, he's practicing sentence structure in a very low-pressure environment. He's forming simple, clear sentences without the pressure of a conversation partner or a time limit. He's thinking subject, verb, object. He's choosing basic vocabulary and putting it together naturally. Third, and this is huge for slow English, he's focusing on enunciating every single word, every syllable, every sound. He's not blurring words together. He's giving his mouth the time it needs to accurately form picking up or glass of water without rushing. This reinforces correct pronunciation and articulation. You don't have to do it. That slowly all the time, but starting this way builds an incredibly strong foundation of clear speech. Try it while you're making breakfast. I am cracking an egg. The egg is falling into the pan. Or while you're cleaning your room, I am folding the shirt. The shirt is blue. Or even just walking to the store. I am walking Igban on the sidewalk. There is a tree next to me. It might feel a bit awkward at first, but it's a powerful way to make English practice a seamless part of your daily routine, building precision and confidence without external pressure.
It takes away the pressure of finding something to talk about and instead puts the focus on how to talk about anything.
Exactly. All right, next up, technique number 3, the 3-2-1 recorder method. This one requires nothing more than your phone's voice recorder, which almost everyone has these days. And it is incredibly powerful for self-correction and tracking your progress. Here's how it works. First, you'll pick a simple topic. This could be something like what I did yesterday, my favorite movie, my dream vacation, or why I'm learning English. Keep it a topic you can talk about for a few minutes. Your first task is to talk about that topic for 3 minutes. At this stage, I want you to talk at your normal, perhaps slightly fast, maybe even slightly panicked speed. Don't stop, just keep talking, even if you stumble or use filler words like or ah. The goal here is just to get it out, record it. Once your 3 minutes are up, the most crucial part begins. Listen back to that recording. This can be painful, I know. Hearing your own voice, especially when you're making mistakes, isn't always pleasant. But this is where the real learning happens.
Oh, the listening part is absolutely painful for most of us, myself included when I started doing this, but it is genuinely where the learning happens. It's like watching a sports replay to identify where you went wrong. You can't fix what you don't acknowledge.
Precisely, Leo. As you listen, actively notice the mistakes. Where did you stumble? Where did you use too many filler words? Were there parts where you rushed so much that your pronunciation became unclear? Identify those specific areas. Don't just generally think, I made mistakes. Pinpoint them. Then you'll do it again. Same topic, but this time you have only 2 minutes. Your goal now is to be much more concise and, most importantly, much slower and clearer. Because you've already identified your weak spots from the first recording, you can consciously work on avoiding them. You're thinking about those pauses, those clear pronunciations, that structured sentence.
You're forcing yourself to be deliberate because you have less time but a clear goal of clarity and precision. You have to be more efficient with your words, which naturally makes you slow down to choose them wisely.
Exactly. You're practicing editing yourself in real time. Finally, you do it one last time. Same topic, but now you only have 1 minute. Your goal here is to deliver the absolute most important information from your original 3-minute rambling with perfect, slow, clear pronunciation. By this point, you've refined your ideas, you've practiced the specific language, and you've had 3 passes to improve your delivery. By the end of this exercise, you'll have a polished, confident version of your story. The transformation from the first 3-minute take to the final 1-minute take is often astounding. Doing this just once a week, focusing on a different topic each time, will transform your speaking ability by building a habit of self-correction and deliberate, clear articulation. It's like doing progressive resistance training for your speaking muscles.
That's a powerful one. You're forced to be both efficient and clear. All right, on to technique number 4, power pausing. This isn't just about slowing down your words, Kei, but about learning to love the silence in between. This is probably one of the most natural yet overlooked aspects of native speaker fluency. We don't speak in one long continuous stream like a robot. We speak in what are called thought groups or chunks of ideas. Think about it. When I'm speaking, I naturally group words together that belong to a single idea, and then I pause slightly before the next idea. For example, instead of saying something like, when I wake up this morning, the first thing I did was check my email, which is how many non-native speakers might string words together when trying to speak fast. A native speaker would naturally break that up.
When I woke up this morning, the first thing I did was check my email. See how those little pauses naturally occurred? They're not silence because I forgot what to say. They are deliberate, strategic pauses that actually enhance comprehension and make you sound more thoughtful.
Those pauses are your secret weapon, truly. They accomplish several things simultaneously. First, they let your listener digest what you just said. They create a brief window for the information to sink in, making you easier to understand and follow. Second, and equally important, those pauses give you a moment. A moment to breathe, to gather your thoughts, to plan the next part of your sentence or your next thought chunk. It's like a mental refresh button that prevents you from stumbling. Here's how to practice power pausing. Pick any article, a short story, or even a paragraph from a book. Read it aloud, but consciously pause at every comma and every period. Even if the text flows quickly, make yourself stop. Make the pause longer than you think you need to. I mean, count to 2 or 3 in your head if you have to. At first, it will feel incredibly strange and unnatural to you, the speaker. It might feel like you're speaking too slowly or that the pauses are awkwardly long, but trust me on this, it will sound perfectly natural, even authoritative to your listener. Practicing this consciously will train your brain and mouth to automatically incorporate these natural breaks into your spontaneous speech. It's a powerful habit to build.
It sounds so simple, but it's incredibly profound because it forces you to think and complete ideas, not just individual words. And it gives you permission to breathe. Exactly. And now for our final technique. And Leo, this is your baby, right?
Exactly. And now for our final technique. And Leo, this is your baby, right?
It is. Okay, this is technique number 5, the single sentence challenge. And I mean it when I say this is a technique that helped me personally break my fluency barrier and gain significant confidence. It's about perfection, but on a tiny, tiny scale.
Tell us how it works.
Every single day, your only job is to create one perfect sentence. That's it. Just one. Not a paragraph, not a story, just a single, self-contained sentence. But this sentence has to be perfect for you. What do I mean by that? I mean, you will choose a new vocabulary word you want to master, or a specific grammar structure you're struggling with and want to integrate naturally into your speech. You will build a sentence with that new word or grammar structure. For instance, if you're learning conditional sentences, your sentence might involve, if I had known. If you're learning phrasal verbs, your sentence might use put off. And then, here's the core of the challenge. You'll practice saying that one sentence out loud, slowly, over and over again, maybe 10 or 20 times, until you can say it smoothly, clearly, and confidently, without stumbling, without hesitation.
Give us an example, Leo. Walk us through how you would do it.
Okay, let's say my new vocabulary word for the day is ambitious. It's a word I like and I want to use it more naturally. So I would build a sentence. My ambitious goal for this year is to run a half marathon. My ambitious goal for this year is to run a half marathon. I would consciously check my pronunciation of ambitious, making sure I'm getting the SH sound and the correct syllable stress. I'd focus on the intonation of the whole sentence. Am I stressing the right words? Am I sounding natural? I would repeat it out loud. My ambitious goal for this year is to run a half marathon. And again. And again. I'd repeat it until it felt like second nature, until the words flowed effortlessly from my mouth. It takes maybe 1 or 2 minutes a day at most. The beauty of this technique is that you are building a library of high-quality, perfectly executed sentences in your mind and your muscle memory. You're not just learning words in isolation, you're embedding them in context with correct pronunciation and intonation. You're building confidence one perfect sentence at a time. Each successful repetition is a small victory that contributes to overall fluency and a feeling of control over the language. It compounds quickly, and suddenly you have dozens, then hundreds of sentences you can say perfectly. It's incredibly empowering.
So, we have these 5 amazing techniques, and hopefully our listeners are already thinking about which one they're going to try first. But a common question we get, and a listener might be thinking right now, is, this is great for practice, but how do I use this in a real conversation? I'll sound like a robot.
That's the most important question, and it's a completely valid concern. The answer is to understand the crucial difference between the gym and the game.
Think of these exercises we've just shared: slow motion shadowing, the narrator technique, the recorder method, power pausing, and the single sentence challenge. These are your gym time. This is where you lift the weights, do the drills, and build the muscles slowly and correctly. You don't have to speak like the narrator or consciously pause for 3 seconds after every thought group in a real conversation.
Exactly. The practice you do in the gym will naturally and almost unconsciously start to show up in the game of real conversation. Because you've practiced speaking slowly, deliberately, and with attention to clarity, your normal speaking speed will naturally become clearer and more controlled. You'll automatically start to use pauses more effectively because you've trained your brain and mouth to do so. It becomes an ingrained habit, not something you have to force.
The key here is to give yourself grace and small, achievable goals. In your very next English conversation, whether it's with a colleague, a friend, or even just talking to yourself in the mirror, don't try to use all these techniques. Don't try to be perfectly slow and deliberate. Just try to do one thing. Try to be 10% slower than you normally would. That's it. Just a little bit. See how it feels. Notice if you feel more relaxed, if you find words more easily.
Precisely. This isn't a permanent change to speaking incredibly slowly forever. It's a temporary training phase designed to fix bad habits, build new muscle memory, and establish a strong foundation of clear, confident speech. Speed will naturally increase over time as your muscles and brain become more efficient, but it will be speed built on a foundation of clarity and control, not panic and mistakes. You're building a sustainable fluency, not just trying to rush to a finish line you can't reach. So, let's bring it all home. We've talked a lot today, but the core message is this. The pressure to speak fast is a myth that is actively holding you back from true fluency and confidence in English.
And by embracing the power of slowing down, you give yourself more crucial thinking time. You drastically improve your pronunciation. You effectively lower your anxiety, and you actually begin to sound more authoritative and natural. It's truly a win-win.
And we've given you 5 powerful practical techniques you can start using today to experience these benefits for yourself. They are slow motion shadowing, the narrator technique, the 3-2-1 recorder method, power pausing, and Leo's personal game changer, the single sentence challenge.
And now we have a challenge for you, our wonderful listeners who have stayed with us this far. For the next 7 days, we want you to pick just one of these techniques, just one, and commit to practicing it for just 10 minutes every single day.
After 1 week, we want you to come back to this video or podcast episode and leave a comment. Tell us which technique you chose and, most importantly, what you noticed. Did you feel more in control? Did your clarity improve? Did your anxiety lessen? We genuinely want to hear about your progress and your personal breakthroughs.
Your journey inspires us and everyone else in this amazing community. Let's prove together that slow and steady truly wins the fluency race. Give it a try and let us know what happens.
That is all the time we have for today on the English Flow podcast. Thank you so much for investing this time in your English fluency.
If you found this episode helpful, the best way to support us is to hit that like button. It really helps the YouTube algorithm show this video to more learners who need it.
And of course, if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to English Fluency Mastery and ring that notification bell so you never miss an episode. We release a new one every single week.
Next week, we're going to be talking about a really interesting topic: how to think directly in English and stop translating in your head. You won't want to miss it.
Until then, keep practicing, be patient with yourself, and find your flow.
Bye for now.